Ship.store/USC.
Ship.store. Exclamation mark.
Merch.
Exclamation
Merch.
Exclamation mark. Merch. If you want to donate. Exclamation mark. Donate. No, merch. Donate. Exclamation mark. Donate. Donate merch.
So we're raising money for the Able Gamers Foundation. That's why we have merch.
Yes,
Proceeds
absolutely,
from
yes.
the merch go to the charity. But if you want to donate directly to the charity, you can donate to the charity directly. These posters are awesome. This is going on my wall at home. I don't care if they say I can't put it on the plane.
This is the company property. You're fine. It's okay. Anyways, we have the Mine 2001 coming up, doing Superliminal Glitchless %, which is a very, very fun game to watch. And we're doing Glitchless because it is fun. If it's glitch, you won't get to see all the cool stuff. So, are you ready to switch over? All right, let's go ahead and switch it over. Take it away, guys. You are up.
All right. And do you want us to count you in real quick and we'll get you rocking and rolling?
All right, perfect.
All right, sweet. So we're going to go in 3,
2,
1, go.
Oh, I had to start the game already? Whoops. I had to already start my game. Sorry about that, but... Alright, anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and get started here, and this is a Superliminal Glitchless. This is around the 30-minute category, and what I have to do here is turn around, and then I have a little timer set up in the corner. Like, it can be easily done with like the game menu settings, and yeah, it measures it up in tenths of a second. Anyways, hey everyone, I'm the Mind 2001, and I speedrun a multitude of games, this game being one of them. So, and there's quite a lot that goes into the speedrun, and sorry about the lag, it's more on my end instead of the stream's end, so... I kept thinking that I had to pick that up, but anyways, yep, I run a multitude of games, and this is no exception. I started speedrunning this game because I saw Loris's world record from December 2019, and I saw it in like late 2020, and that inspired me to run the game. And my current PB is a 25:57. Okay, that wasn't quite big enough, but yeah. Basically, how this game works is that you have to like you're given like a whole multitude of objects, and then you have to resize them and stuff like that. Okay, looks like I had to resize it real big. So, Samwise, you want to give more insight about this category in particular?
Yeah, so I'm Samwise3S. I am also a runner, also a verifier, and I actually made the tutorial for the glitchless speedrun category. So for those of you who aren't familiar with this game, Superliminal is it's a perspective-based puzzle game where perception is reality. And the main mechanic that we're going to be using is resizing objects based on how large they appear when we grab and then place them. And you'll be seeing it a ton throughout the entire game, with a few extra things introduced in each level. And so this first level is called Induction. It's kind of to give like a portal vibe where you're walking through rooms and just like learning the mechanic, and the only goal is to just get from one end to the other. And so you can see that we've been making really small objects into something really big, and then or making something really big into something really small. It's pretty simple in this beginning, but it's also a very technical level. And as the first level of the speed run, plenty of people reset all the time. Here we're using a big piece of cheese to just push down that wall, and we move on to the next level.
And yeah, that door that the game tells you to go through, that is actually a fake door, so that's not even the objective at all. So that's how it gets you to use a piece of cheese instead.
The plot of this game is that you're in dream therapy. And so this beginning section of the game is to make you think, oh, I just woke up, I'm now in the clinic. And then very quickly you'll find out you are still asleep and you're deeper in the dream. So this level is called Obstacle. We're going to be focusing a lot on optical illusions. You'll see them here and there from hallways that look like they keep going and they in fact don't.
And this one is exactly the opposite, where you think it ends there, but then you walk into it and then it just stretches in on itself.
Exactly. And so we're still using this basic main mechanic and finding out that this is not just a hotel we're in fact in a large warehouse. And this game gets really trippy really fast.
Yeah, I agree, Sam. This game is kind of like it's kind of like a theater play in some aspects, where you're surrounded by a lot of backgrounds, and then you fade away into like the behind the scenes backstage a lot of times. So
Here we're going to use a technique called box jumping, where we're actually jump resizing while on top of the object to make it bigger and then get up to an unreachable location with just one object. Usually you're supposed to grab another thing so you can climb up, but in this case we can just use the original cube.
and yeah, box jumping allowed me to skip a room earlier where I would have to use another box to jump up there. And I did the same thing here by avoiding having to use the box to go up there, like I'm showing in the camera right now, and to go through the ramp, which saves a good like 5 seconds. And yeah, you can hardly tell, but we're actually going like above where we were just earlier. Like we're on the bridge and stuff like that.
Yeah, so the fun fact is that while it's able to get up to the catwalk earlier in the level, there's an invisible wall preventing you from actually going over it, except for the original version of the game. And here we're going to grab a door off the moon and go into it, which is crazy. And it's the first concept of a portal, and we're going to be seeing a bunch of those later. Spoiler alert. But yeah, most of this game will be just getting to the end of the level, falling into an elevator, and hoping we're out of the dream in the next level.
And yeah, this third level is also called Cubism, where you're also using like a whole bunch of dice cubes to get across the level. But the trick that I'm about to do in the next 10 seconds is where I'm about to jump off a fence instead of going into that little side room and getting the cube from there. And it's a little bit of a tricky setup, but it saves like a good 6 seconds or something like that.
6 is a little extreme, but it is a pretty nice little skip.
Okay, it's more like 2 or 3. But yeah, this game is full of like really small optimizations and stuff like that.
Yeah, so the glitchless speedrun is primarily movement based. There aren't a ton of tricks that we can pull off. But for example, in this level in particular, you'll see that we're using a mantle or a ledge grab every time we are close to getting through a jump, and it's very generous in it. Helps save a lot of different jumps. Except if you really want to optimize this level, it's possible to skip every single one, where every time you get a ledge grab, it's about 1/3 of a second.
Okay, that slope was a tiny bit. That slope was a tiny bit too steep for me to go up.
Yeah, so through this level, you're seeing a ton of different cube manipulations.
Okay, I had
Ooh,
to.
it jumps a little far.
Okay. Yeah, it looked a little far, so I had to get one of the smaller cubes in order to like readjust it. And you actually can also manipulate those mini cubes as well. So
Yeah, we've seen exploding cubes, mini cubes, half cubes, sliding cubes, everything. Devs like to have a lot of fun with this level. Next up, we're going to be going into a level called Blackout. This changes the tone a little bit. Before, we've just been in kind of calm, nicely lit rooms, but now it's the idea of the perception of horror.
You may still be experiencing feelings of worthlessness and self-doubt.
And so what's really cool about this level is it gives you the idea that, maybe there's something in the darkness. Maybe there's something hidden away that might be stalking you, or a jump scare that's coming. But it's just your perception that's leading you to believe that. There's, in fact, no danger in this level.
But like the ominous feeling that something's there watching, it's a little bit unsettling. Even though speedrunners know there isn't any danger, but the lingering feeling is still there.
Yeah, and there's plenty of little cues around the level, like this red splatters on the floor, or a sign that says murder and beans. That bridge skip was a nice little jump that saves a few seconds. There's usually a walkway that you can just trace along, but with 60 FPS, we can jump a little bit higher and a little bit further, which allows us to skip that part entirely.
Because you want the kind of happy life you see all around you. Everyone else is enjoying. And that's exactly why.
And you don't technically have to turn 180 degrees here, but I turned 180 degrees so that I can better see where that like semi-invisible stairway is.
You were advised to subject yourself to explosive.
And no, you can go ahead. You can go ahead.
Yeah, at this point, some of the runners will skip grabbing the sign to light up this cardboard box maze, because if you know it well enough, you can simply go backwards and hop through it completely blind, and that saves about 14 whole seconds.
Back up there. There is also a little shortcut in this room where I can use the shelves to. Okay, I fell off there, but I can use the shelves to go from the right instead of the left, and then this last box, instead of having to go all the way to like the other side of the room and jumping up from there, which saves a couple seconds.
And here, as we approach the end of the level, we're going to turn on a generator to get the lights back on, and we'll find out that all this red splatter that we've been seeing on the floor, it's just paint. That's all it is.
And yeah. Oh, and I would also like to mention that at the end of Optical, I had to shrink the room down a little bit so that I can get through the hallway a little bit faster, because had I gone into that room with the original size that I was meant to go in, it would actually lose me a couple of seconds, because you're technically traveling at the same speed, but the scale is a lot bigger. So yeah.
Yeah, we will be talking about that a lot in the next level. This current one is called Clone, and we start to change the mechanic for the first time, where this first object, just a regular old door, this will subvert our expectations for what we're about to see. Because when the mind gets this next door, suddenly we're making clones.
Same thing with this alarm clock, where I'm going to make the alarm clock bigger, and I can also do jumps to stack them up. Okay. My bad. My game lagged a little bit, but I can still hop. Oh, okay. My game lagged there a little bit, so I struggled a bit to get up there, but now we're good.
Yeah, another key concept in this game is that there are object barriers that prevent us from bringing objects into different rooms and skipping other puzzles. This is something that you can actually get around, but it's not considered glitchless. But it means that if you're holding an object, you can't progress to the next room. And so that's one of the things that just happens to the mind.
Yeah. Oh, right. I think I was just holding an object and I didn't even know, because what I thought happened is that the alarm clocks that I built up, they weren't high enough for me to make. So that's what I thought had happened.
I have no subroutine to correct these errors, but I cannot compromise the integrity of the standard
Oh, and here, after I stack these up, I can press right click to actually get rid of the signs that I just cloned. So that makes it easier.
Yeah, it helped us get right through that door. There's actually a hole in the ceiling so that if you forgot how to return objects, because most players don't pay attention to the sign that tells you how to do that, the devs gave a shortcut of, if you forgot, here's another way to get in.
Phil's friendly family produce.
So this next level that's coming up is probably most runners' least favorite level. It's going to be called Dollhouse. And the reason people hate it is because it has this property of portals where your size depends on the size of the portal that you're going into. And if you don't get it perfectly right, you can lose a lot of time for seemingly no reason. There's also a few puzzles that trip up early runners, and we'll see how the mind gets through them later on.
Reappeared on our monitoring system after a prolonged absence. Please continue to do whatever you did most recently, and discontinue whatever you were doing immediately prior to that.
So yeah, as the mind was explaining earlier, if the door was too big, you'd be really small inside the room, and because you're small, you move slow. But if you're too large, or if you're too large for the door, then you just can't fit inside, and then you have to step back, resize it, and try again. Runners like to take that radio as a way to skip a couple stairs. It saves maybe like 1/10 of a second, but hey, time save is time save.
I mean, yeah, sometimes within a 25-minute category, it's like hardly even necessary at this point. But yeah, once you get to like the 22, 23-minute range, then it becomes a lot more important to save those few tenths of a second.
Here we're using a giant fan, or what was a small fan.
Huh?
No way. Huh?
There we
Never
go.
seen it balanced like that. Wow.
That was actually kind of cool. Where I thought it was gonna fall over, but then it just like rebalanced itself. Window's a little big. Okay, window's a little small.
That is the beauty of Dollhouse. All right, let's see this bouncy castle.
Hello, my name is Dr. Glenn Pierce.
Someone is saying, "Name is my Pierce, Dr. Glenn."
The worst thing you can do is focus on
I mean,
activity.
in that dialogue, you can kind of make out what he's saying, despite the garbled mess that the speech is in. So.
Yeah, so for anyone who hasn't been paying attention to the dialogue happening in the back, Dr. Glenn Pierce is the person who's running the clinic that you're in, and they seem to have lost you. And he's communicating with you through a series of radios throughout the levels. Tech seems to be having an interesting situation up there. Anyway.
Yeah, I couldn't tell what's happening. But then again, y'all are noticing lag on the stream. Mostly on my end, I don't have the greatest laptop, so oh, good. I'm in the keyhole. Anyway, yeah, that keyhole room can be a little bit trippy, so.
It uses two interlinked portals, and by being able to use them at different sizes, you can kind of resize yourself at will inside that room.
Yeah.
And so that trips a lot of new players because they have no idea how to use those portals. But the idea is just to take one, pull it out of the room, and then just escape. You don't actually have to resize yourself at all.
Yeah. Also, that was the last instance of us going into that elevator room for the whole run.
Yeah, now we're
Hey.
Yo, what up?
I just wanted to pop in, double checking how the run's doing. Looks like you're killing it so far. I'm watching you on the big screen here.
Yeah. Anyways, you can see me jumping around and stuff like that in this hallway because what I'm gonna attempt to do is audio skip, where by jumping in a specific region of the room, unlike the light stops and everything, you can skip a few of the audio prompts.
Yeah, so the way this room works is once you walk through all the audio triggers and the audio finishes, then you teleport to the next section of the level. The thing is, those triggers don't go all the way up to the ceiling. So by jumping on a certain number of objects, you can just go straight over them and save up to about like 25 seconds if
Yeah.
you do it right.
So normally, normally there would be a few more text prompts from the text to speech in this level, but because I did that trick, I just saved about like 20 seconds.
And you did miss the first one, but
okay,
you get the second one.
I usually get the second one. I have no clue how to get that first one, like consistently at all.
Hey, I've got a tutorial.
But yeah, that's what Samwise's tutorial is for.
Yeah, so this section is, it looks like a loop, and it is, but you have to walk through certain triggers, and then it just teleports you back to the opening room.
Yeah.
And when you're on your first playthrough, this is really jarring and hard to comprehend, but, you know, once you've done it a few times, you can get over it.
With Bennett Foddy.
Hello, my name is Dr. Glenn Pierce. Thank you for being standard orientation protocol. Before we begin,
Yeah, this level is called Labyrinth. It's probably the most visually interesting of the levels in there, maybe except for White Space. But a lot of stuff is going on that is subverting your expectations and, you know, making you think, oh, I'm expecting one thing, and then suddenly you're debated by the devs time and time again.
of course, nothing is more challenging than the difficulty of changing perspective, of fundamentally altering your perceptions.
And yeah, I'm gonna use. There's like a whole bunch of stuff we have to do, and this level's around like 4.5, maybe 5 minutes long. And yeah, it'll.
Yeah, definitely one of the longer levels.
Same thing with White Space too.
So here, perception is not reality. You're actually supposed to look at the wrong direction first to see that it's blocked off, and then you can go in through the exit. And you have to do it 5 times in a row just to prevent you from accidentally doing it a couple times. And this is probably the hardest puzzle for new players who have no idea what's going on.
Oh, and this is kind of like the same skip that was in Cubism, where I can bounce off of one of those floats and not have to use the cube twice. I only had to use the cube once there, so.
Also, Frostifero keenly observed another elevator, but that was a fake elevator, so it doesn't count. And that won't be the last fake elevator, we'll see.
Yeah. But yeah, there is an actual elevator in this level, but that can't be accessed in Glitchless. That is in any percent though, and that is actually a real elevator room that takes you to the next level, aka White Space.
Yeah, so what the mine just did was there's an elevator maze. The thing is that it's not actually RNG, it's just a completely planned maze. So, you know, as speedrunners, we figured out the fastest path, and there are actually several different options. The mine picks one of the ones that's easier to remember, but there's one that's probably half a second to a full second faster.
Yeah, what I did in that elevator room is I went 3 down and 3 to the right, and then the portal popped up right to the left of me. So
now in this level, we are starting to be outside of the dream, and just a warning for anyone who's photosensitive, this level does get pretty bright, and there are some flashing lights at the end.
yeah, like right about here.
So this is one case, I would say bitrate hallway. Sorry, tech. There's going to be a lot of bitrate issues at the end of this level. But yeah, we just broke the dream by putting a portal inside itself. And it looks like we're going outside it.
Oh, I think I should show them the checkpoint skip that's in this level, because a bit later on in this level, there's actually a checkpoint you can pass through, and if you reset the checkpoint, the level would be actually a little bit smaller than if you were to not resize the room at all.
Yeah, what happens is, for some reason, your player scale becomes a tiny bit smaller after that transition. And so when you reset checkpoint, it will bump you back to the default size. The thing is, there's another part of the level, another portal, that will push you what was originally from the smaller size to the default size. It will now push you from the default size to slightly larger. And because of that, you move like 2% faster, and it saves about 2 seconds. Or 1% faster. It saves about 2 seconds over the whole level, because it's a big walking simulator.
By seeing it exactly the way I wanted to.
Now is probably a good time for a donation read, because there's not a lot going on.
Yeah, it's basically just like a 5-minute walking simulator, as Samwise mentioned. Here's the exits.
This is a really stunning level visually. Unfortunately, from a speedrun point of view, it's not very interesting.
Yeah, it's just
for if you watch a 100% collectible speedrun, or any of the glitch speedruns, we can use that portal within a portal to skip through the level really cool. Unfortunately, glitchless we just kind of have to walk through.
Yeah, because glitchless.
I also faced the greatest challenge I could imagine, because with a lifetime of life itself behind me and all of the weight that it carried, I realized that seeing things the way I wanted to was not as easy as it used to be.
So there, by clicking the light switch, you end up looking at a black wall, and it's supposed to make you think you're in a loading screen. And I've seen a lot of new players just stare at it for like 20 seconds before they realize they're just looking at a wall.
Yeah.
But as soon as you turn around, then you'll see, oh, my reticle's back. I can just go through these stairs.
You will be on dreaming now, and further out than anyone has ever come back.
So next up is the chessboard. The way it works is if a chess piece is on a square, then that square is solid. If it's not, then you fall through and have to start over.
Isn't it also a place?
So we'll see if the mine uses 1 or 2.
Yeah. I usually use both of these chess pieces. There is actually some runners that have a much faster time than I do. They only use one chess piece to get across this.
Yeah, it uses the same idea as a jump resize, where you're jumping and grabbing in the same motion. All right, and the last actual puzzle of the game, we're going to try to skip a cheese ramp that's through that other room by jump resizing to the door at the end. That's just a little visual glitch. You can ignore that. Photosensitivity warning for everyone watching at home. We're near the end of the run. The run's gonna end not at the end of this level, but as soon as we click the clock at the start of the next level.
Yeah, because retrospective is basically like a scroll of like what you've been doing throughout the entire game, but the speedrun actually ends with once we hit that clock, which makes this split like 2 seconds. Oh, okay. I actually don't know what I just did there. Okay, there we go. So it's gonna be like about like a 27:30 in-game time.
Yeah, the fall is 23 seconds, and then in retrospect, it's how fast can you click a clock that's right in front of you, or a little bit, not quite in front of you, but within eyesight.
Yeah, it's looking about like a
So
27:30.
ready to call time.
And yeah, that in-game that timer that y'all see on like the left of the stream, that's in real time. But how this speedrun is actually timed is with the in-game timer at the left, at the like the top left of the screen. So I got a 27:29 in-game time.
Awesome job.
Right, good run.
What do you mean?
Okay.
Oh, good run. We just unmuted our end. Great job. We are. Do you want to shout anyone out in particular towards the end of this?
Quite easily if you just like go through the tutorial a few times. I've been running this game on and off for about 3 years, and my PV's a 25. Well, my PV on speedrun.com is a 2610, and it's from March of 2022, which I could plan on improving soon and maybe going towards the sub 25 range in game time, but I don't know. I guess we'll have to see. Then
We'll
again,
have
this
to wait
isn't
and
the
see.
yeah. Then again, this isn't the only speed game I run. I also run the Mario games as well. If y'all want to go watch.
Yeah, feel free to check out our runner. The link will be in the title as it stands right now, the Mine 2001. Right now, we're going to head to an intermission. We're going to get set up for our next run. Without further ado, let's head to
And
a break here.
y'all can also follow the commentator at the username I just mentioned in chat. It's Samwise3S on Twitch. If y'all want to see some mind-breaking speedruns of this game. Anyways,